Welcome to Train Tuesday. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin. So glad to have you on board with us tonight. If you are joining us on the live stream, welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy what we're going to talk about tonight. As I'm thinking about it, this is the last week for pre-orders for anything that we've talked about the month of January. So don't forget to, take that trip to your local hobby dealer or, go on over to your computer, grab that mouse, grab that trackpad, make your selections with your favorite online retailer and do some pre-orders because it's really hard to forget about these when they're so good. So go ahead and get those pre-orders in. Otherwise, you'll be like some of us who have forgotten to do the pre-orders, and a year comes later and you realize, man, I really like that locomotive, or I really like that freight car, and your buddy's already taken it. So don't be left in the lurch. Now, if you are watching us on the YouTube, I want to thank you for finding us over there. And do me a favor, do us a favor. If you like what you see, if you like the content that we talk about on a weekly and monthly basis, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for further announcements of new videos as they drop, and we would appreciate it greatly. So let's see who's joining us tonight. We've got about 78 people that are here. I see Tom, Alf. Alf, I thought you were retired. I haven't seen you since the 80s. Late Night Model Railroad, Harold, Jeffrey, Bradley, Donnie, Vertus Johnson, JC, BNSF 9708, Mark, Anthony, Jerry, and Chessie Railfan 4802. So glad that you could join us. We're going to be talking both HO and N scale again tonight. So you N scale guys, don't feel left out. And there is plenty for everybody. We're also going to be talking about some Wabash trailers. So for you guys that are modeling more of the modern time era, I would say 1990s to present day, you're going to want to stick around for these. We're going to be talking about coal cars, mainly Thrall cars, in the Athearn HO and N scale line. But before we get started, let's do a few more shout outs to see who is joining us. Ibuprofen Dave, Lewis, Keegan, Randall, DG Model Works is in the house, Terry LaFrance, and Keegan again. So Keegan is definitely here, and I think he's had some coffee. So look out in the comment section. Keegan is ready to go. We got Joseph, Chuck, and Greg and George. So thanks for joining me here tonight. We've got guys from all over. I see Prescott, Arizona is here. Terry wants to know, did we get much snow? Not yet. It's coming tomorrow. And I think that snow is pretty much a large part of the Midwest all the way through to the East Coast. But that's not going to stop us from going to one of the big train shows of the East Coast coming up this weekend. A little bit more of that later, so stick around for that. We'll be talking about the Amherst Railroad Hobby Show later on in the program. But tonight, let's start by talking about these Athearn Thrall freight cars. Now, everything I'm going to show you is available in both HO and N scale. So guys, no matter what scale you're modeling, if you're HO or N scale, we've got something here for you. All right. Terry is upset. Not sure why Terry's upset. Maybe because these aren't S scale or O scale. Sorry, Terry. We're going to be talking Athearn HO and N tonight. Now, these are the Thrall High Side Gondolas with loads. And this first picture you see here, this is the Wisconsin Electric 3-car set. Now, everything that I'm going to be talking about tonight, they're available in 3-packs. We're not doing them in singles because we found most guys pretty much buy the 3-packs, and the singles kind of stick around a little bit longer. So since these are in the Athearn line, they're economically priced. Most guys do buy these in multiple sets to make their coal trains. We're just offering them in 3 different 3-car sets. Now, this is a Wisconsin Electric. We announced this in April of 2021, and these are actually in stock now. So if you really like these, contact your dealer. He's probably got some. If not, he can definitely call his Athearn sales rep and get one of these for you. Now, these are nicely detailed cars. Even though they're in the Athearn line, they don't have the cut levers and the air hoses that the Genesis have, but they still have some really nice detail to them. Look at the brake chain. So if you wanted to super detail these, you could. They're a great starting point. The biggest thing is look at the printing. Here's the ACI label. Really good printing on these cars. Now, likewise, N scale guys, here's your version. Now, the N scale cars still got really good printing. Look at the N printing on these. These are N scale. These aren't HO, they're N scale. Now, these guys here, these are the Herzogs that we announced back in April of 2021, and these are also in stock. So, you HO and N scale guys, this time of year, you're probably thinking, hey, you know what? What events am I going to run my Fremo module, or maybe my N-Track module, or my T-Track module? If you're kind of planning that out for the year, now's a good time to do two things. You can order these now, have them ready for this year's meets, and you can also pre-order the ones that we're going to talk about here shortly so that you're ready for next year's meets. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what we're going to offer this month. So the first one that we're offering, this is the David J. Joseph Company. These are prime for grime. These are representative of 2000s era Thralls. Now the David J. Joseph Company was founded all the way back in 1885. It is a world leader in scrap metal recycling and trading. Now, they have 70 locations. The Joseph Company is headquartered, however, in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Nucor Corporation, which is a Fortune 200 company. So more than likely, you have seen these in your rail fanning expeditions. Again, they're going to come in a 3-pack. These are prime for grime, and you've got 3 different 3-packs to collect. Now, speaking of Herzog, here's another one, 2000s. Now, they're a leading rail and heavy highway contractor across North America. They efficiently solve complex transportation problems and challenging operating environments thanks to 50 years of experience in their highly qualified team of professionals. That was taken from their website, but no doubt you have seen these. Very popular. You've probably seen these on your rail fan trips if you are into that sort of activity. Now we're offering these CP rails in the Action Red, really cool. This is representation of 1970s to 1990s, pretty much early 90s. And again, you're going to have the option to have 3 different 3-packs, so real easy to make your coal train with these. So we had some feedback. A lot of guys were asking, hey, I love it that you're putting these things on social media, but what is this SEPX? What does that stand for? Well, that's Southwestern Electric Power. Now, these are lettered and painted for a 1970s and 1990s era paint scheme. Now, a little bit about this company. They're often called just simply SWEPCO. SWEPCO. They are the Southwestern Electric Power Company, and they serve most of western Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and northeastern Texas. So pretty much that's going to be the region these guys are usually located. Here's another one. If you just looked at the reporting marks, you might not know what they are. Really interesting set of cars here. This is called the Fayette Project, the Fayette Power Project. Again, a 1970s and 1990s era paint scheme. A little bit of background on these. The Fayette Power Project is also known as the Sam Seymour Power Plant, and it's a coal-fired power plant located near LaGrange, Texas, in Fayette County, Texas. And it is also owned by Austin Energy and the Lower Colorado River Authority, and operated by the LCRA. Now, there are 3 generating units that complete the Fayette Power Project. 1979, they built unit number 1. It's available for generating capacity of 615 megawatts. Unit number 2 was completed in 1980. It too can generate with a capacity of 615 megawatts. And then finally, unit number 3 was completed in 1988. Its capacity, however, is 460 megawatts. Now, the main source of fuel for the Fayette Power Project is low sulfur coal from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming. Cooling water is provided by the Fayette County Reservoir, a 2,400 acre freshwater reservoir. So obviously they're going to need these guys to power these plants. And so this is one of those cars that we wanted to offer. And again, this is going to be available in 3 packs and 3 different 3 packs. So no numbers will be the same. There'll be no duplicates. And then finally, we have Northern Indiana Public Service. Again, a 1970s and 1990s paint scheme. NiSource Inc. is one of the largest fully regulated utility companies in the United States, and it's serving approximately 3.5 million natural gas customers and 500,000 electric customers across 6 states through its local Columbia Gas and NIPSCO brands. The company is based in Maryville, Indiana, has more than 8,000 employees, and as of 2018, NiSource is the sole Indiana-based utility company. So again, big, large company with all of those areas serviced, with 500,000 of those electric customers through 6 states. They're going to need coal for those power plants. So here you are. Again, you're going to have 3 packs and a total of 3 packs. Say that 5 times fast. So let's talk about the HO features first, and then we'll talk about the N-scale features. So as I was saying, these are available in 3 separate 3 packs. Now the retail, and don't get sticker shock, this is the retail price. Contact your dealer for this price. MSRP on these is $104.99 per 3 pack. They're all going to feature a removable load. They're going to feature wire and plastic handrails, stirrup steps, ladders, and underbody details. Separately applied brake gear, including brake wheel, air reservoir, and brake cylinder. 100-ton trucks with 36-inch wheels with RP25 contours. Of course, a highly detailed injection molded body. And believe it or not, minimum radius on these is 18 inches. So even if you have a small layout and you just want to have an excuse to put a coal plant on your layout, you can still do that. These guys will navigate an 18-inch radius without any issues. Okay, N-scale guys, listen up. Here's the features for your N-scale guys. These are available just like the HO in 3 separate 3 packs. They are going to MSRP at $89.99. They're all going to have machine metal wheels, which a lot of N-scale guys have come to appreciate. Screw-mounted 100-ton roller bearing trucks. Body-mounted McHenry scale operating couplers. Body-mounted, that's key. In the past, these were what they call Taugo mounted. That is gone now. These are going to be actually body mounted. They'll handle much better. Of course, if you've got some switching operations in N-scale, these are perfect for that. These will operate on everything from your standard code 80, your fine scale code 55, even your finer scale code 40. They'll all operate on that rail without any issues. Of course, they're accurately painted and printed. They're NMRA weighted for NMRA standards. And again, even you guys in T-Track can enjoy these because the minimum radius on these is 9 3/4. So again, you have until this Friday, basically, the 27th, to pre-order these guys. So I'm going to stop real quick, see if anybody's got any questions on these guys here. Do they come with sound? Yes, but you supply the sound. I do not come with sound. I mean, I guess they do. If you've got metal wheels on and your track work isn't as great as it should be, you're definitely going to have some sound. All right, I'm just kind of going back to see if anybody has any questions on these. If not, we will move forward with the next one. Jeremy looks pretty excited about these. He got his. We'll add to the first run that he has. Can't wait for you to do another run of the black and mustard yellow. I don't think the yellow in the last run was correct. I don't remember hearing too many too much feedback on that. But if you feel that the color wasn't right, feel free to contact us at our specifically if you've got actual paint samples or paint chips. Try to remember, guys, color is somewhat subjective, but if you think you've got proof like a color chip or a color sample, by all means, contact us at our Athearn product suggestion email. That goes right to product development. We do take those emails seriously. We don't always reply right away, but in a situation like that, we can do that. That's how we adjusted the colors for the main central units that we announced back in November. That was based on feedback from you guys, and also you guys supplying us with the information, which we do appreciate. All right. So let's go on to the next thing. We're gonna go trucking now. And we're going to talk about some trailers. Now, this is just HO scale, so yeah, sorry, N scale guys, but you guys have got a lot of stuff this month. So do me a favor, N scale guys, represent your scale and get those pre-orders in, because we get a lot of requests for N scale. We'd really like to make sure that we can keep doing those N scale models by having you guys participate in pre-orders. A little bit of background. This is a 53-foot Wabash plate trailer. Now, the Wabash 53-foot plate trailer was manufactured in the 1990s. Now, not this trailer here. This is a Wabash, but it's not exactly what we're talking about. I'm just using it as a representative. The trailer is distinguished by the unique uneven spacing of the exterior ribs, which you'll see in a minute. It was a common trailer for piggyback service during the 1990s all the way into the 2000s. The plate trailer was subsequently replaced by the DuraPlate trailer in Wabash's line, but these veteran units can still be found on the roads and rails today. We'll talk a little bit about that. This is the last release that we did. This was announced in August of 21, and these should be due in February. Now, we did these trailers here because we were celebrating something a couple of years ago. It was 75 years of serving you with model railroad products. This is one of the three that we did. This Athearn Blue 53-footer. We also did an Athearn Blue, like a Genesis Blue with the 75th anniversary. And we did the same trailer in white with reverse colors. But these trailers are really nice. I mean, we also offer them in prototype names. But again, look, you can see the Wabash decal like you would in real life. You can see your hookups. You can also have these in the legs in the raised or lowered position. It's really nicely detailed. A little bit of weathering. These look really nice. Whether you have them parked on an industrial park somewhere on your layout, on one of your TOFC freights, or even coupled up to a semi on one of your highway or street scenes. These are great trailers. And so let's show you what we're offering this month. Now, everything I'm going to show you, per road name will be 2 numbers. So there'll be 2 road numbers for the extra lease that you see here and all the other ones following with it. This is extra trailer number 471420. This is 1990s era and based in St. Louis, Missouri, and owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Extra Lease is the leading provider of over-the-road trailers for rent and lease in the United States. They have about 50 locations. Extra Lease offers a fleet of, get this, 90,000 trailers for rent and lease. 90,000. I don't think anybody here watching tonight has quite that many trailers. That's quite a lot. That's including dry vans, flatbeds, reefers, chassis, and storage trailers. Now, here's a little bit of trivia for you guys. Next time you guys go to the club meeting and you want to be the big shot, let them know that 1957, Extra Corporation became the nation's first piggyback trailer leasing company. So that's kind of neat. All the way back to 1957, these guys were doing that kind of stuff. Remember, 1957 was the beginning of that, and these guys were at the head end of that. Now, this is the Prime for Grime, and this is one that if you model Conrail, Norfolk Southern, especially in the 90s. You're going to recognize this. This is Triple Crown. This is trailer number 461650. This is a prime for grime, and this is going to look so cool because I know you guys have probably seen these out in the real world looking just like this. While these were pretty much brand new in the 90s, and you can probably guess where they were, road railers. By 2010, they started looking like this, and so this is our prime for grime version. Now, Triple Crown Services, they began operations all the way back in 1986 from its headquarters in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Today, Triple Crown is a multiple award-winning provider of truckload dry van transit through the eastern two-thirds of the U.S. and Toronto and Montreal, Canada. Now, for myself personally, I see these guys out at Decatur all the time, and it's on the road railer. Coming up next is JB Hunt. This is one that I'm sure everybody sees at least, if you're doing commuting, you probably see one of these almost once a day. This is trailer number 36747. This is again a 1990s era trailer. JB Hunt Transport Services, Inc. is an American transportation and logistics company based in Lowell, Arkansas. It was founded by Johnny Bryan Hunt and Jonelle Hunt in Arkansas on August 10th, 1961. By 1983, JB Hunt had grown into the 80th largest trucking firm in the United States and earned an overwhelming $623.47 million in revenue. So definitely not a stranger to transportation. Again, all of these that I've shown you, HO scale, part of the Athearn line, and there are 2 numbers per road name. So you can get you can get 2 of each road name that we're showing you. Here is Alps, Alps, I guess is how you'd say it. This is a 1990s on paint scheme. And here's one that we're offering that was by request. This is an owner-operator. This is also prime for grime. This is prime for grime. This is perfect for 2000s. You can see how it's kind of faded out in certain areas. We're trying to give you the option of making your own trucking company. Or let's be honest, you're going to see trailers like this in the real world. They don't really have any markings. They've got all the safety markings on them because they're being used by some owner-operator, but their lives may have been a JB Hunt or another brand earlier in its life. Now, by the 2000s, it looks like this, and this gives you a chance to make it your own. And finally, last but not least, is Dirksen. That is early 2000s right there. So let's talk a little bit about the features on these. The individual trailers are going to go, again, MSRP $34.99. Prime for grime are $39.99. We have to charge a little bit more because there's a little bit more involved with the prime for grime. They're all going to have separately applied landing gear and mud flaps. They're, of course, going to be highly detailed, injection molded body, and they're painted from actual prototype photos that we at Athearn have found. And for your 1990s guys, they're perfect for you. All the way up into the 2000s. They're going to be perfect for your layout. They're going to be perfect for your TOFC trains. Whatever you want to do with these on your layout. I've even seen some of these things used as billboards on highways. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see if there's any questions on these trailers. Why guy says JB Hunt still has road trailers like this for their dedicated services division per the decal. Yes. Tom is ready to pre-order his extra trailer tomorrow. Don't forget, you can get 2 of those. And I see Conrail in there. You might want to get some Triple Crowns too. Let's see. Love these trailers. Well, thank you, Ramsey. We try to come out, every time we come out with these trailers, we really search through the infrastructure and we try to find the top trucking companies. So that way you've got somebody with each release has got something for their layout, for their TOFC trains. We always realize that we don't always get the one that you're looking for, but next run you might see it. If you don't see something in this run that you'd really like to have, again, go to our website, go to contact us, athearnproductsuggestions.com, and say, hey, I'd like to see Ross Express. And who knows, if we get enough requests, we might actually do those. These are illegal on my highways, maybe in a few decades. Yeah, I think even if you use a cab over for your era, it probably would not. Yeah, the Smoky would get you. I think he's modeling an earlier era. Don't worry, we're going to have trailers of different sizes for different eras as well. But for you modern guys, this is all set for you. Jason's saying, yeah, ditto for me. My cutoff is 1984. Now, if you don't know what they're talking about, brief history of trailers. 53-foot trailers are relatively new as far as the trucking industry is concerned. They really came around the 1990s. Before that, though, 45 footers, 48 footers were standard. And before that, 40 footers. That's because up until about the late 70s, trucks were regulated on how long they could be. Now, for us older guys in the audience, you probably remember the cab overs, not the conventional tractors that you see now. Well, the reason why conventional tractors couldn't be used with a 40-foot trailer back in the 70s is because it was too long. If they used a cab over, suddenly that 45-foot trailer or 40-foot trailer, depending on what era, they could fit that on the roadway without any issues. By the 1980s, though, a lot of that was gone. The road infrastructure had gotten a lot better. And so by the 90s, now we're seeing 53 footers. Now, there's even a rumor that in the not too distant future, we're going to see trailers as big as 60 feet. In fact, in Texas, they're already experimenting with 60-foot trailers. That's pretty big. All right. Brad says we badly need some Canadian trucking companies, trailers, containers, and he names a few here. Clark Transport, I'm familiar with that. Big on the intermodal business up here. Yeah, thanks, Brad. And if you can, go ahead and send that to our Athearn product suggestions. Let's see if we can get some more Canadian guys in there and support those names. Now, keep in mind, there may be some licensing issues, which is why we haven't done those. But for the most part, at least get those suggestions in there. And if we can do them, we'll do them if we get enough requests. Joseph, I had to bring this up here because it's kind of an internet rumor. It's wrong. He wants to say, food for thought. These are the very reason railroading is going away. Not quite. So let me give you a brief rundown here before going too far into the weeds. As you know, railroading for years was king of transportation, all the way from point A to point B and everywhere in between. However, in the last 20, 30 years with intermodal and TOFC, the railroads and the trucking industry have changed somewhat, and they've kind of come to an agreement. Now, that doesn't mean there's no more long haul trucking like we saw in the 70s. But it does mean we're seeing more trailer on flat car or intermodal. So say from Long Beach, California to Chicago would go by train. Now, I've said it before, the modern trucking industry has kind of taken over the switcher. In the old days, it was common to see a 40-foot boxcar getting spotted to one customer on a branch line somewhere. That's not so common anymore. In fact, take a look at a modern day grain elevator and you'll see all kinds of cars. In fact, if it's less than 30 cars, most railroads won't deal with that grain elevator. It's just too much money, too much cost. That's where the trucks come in. They can kind of do the role of the switcher, whereas the railroads do the long distance type stuff. Now, is it cut and dry like that 100% of the time? Not quite. But I don't think you're going to see the railroads going anywhere anytime soon. All right, so with that, I'm glad you guys like these. I wanted to share with you some stuff because this weekend I am not going to be here. I am not going to be in the Athearn studio. I'm not going to be anywhere near Central Illinois. In fact, I am going to be somewhere else. So coming up this weekend, I am going to be in Massachusetts. So Athearn is going to be having a booth at the Amherst Railroad Hobby Show. That's this weekend, the 28th and the 29th. You can see category manager Mark Williams, and you can see our lead product developer, Jonathan Stackpole. You can see me too if you want, but those other two guys are a lot more fun to talk to. Definitely stop by the booth. We're going to have some cool stuff. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably asking, well, what are you going to show? Is there going to be any new announcements? What is my favorite locomotive going to be there? Well, let me just give you a sneak peek as to what you're going to see when you come to the Athearn booth. So you remember the GP7s that just came into stock? Maybe you haven't had a chance to see them yet. They're pretty much brand new. Not only are you going to see these at the booth, but you can see these operating on the Dry Hill HO Modular Club railroad layout. They're going to be set up right next to the Athearn booth. Now, if you've been to this show before, you're probably familiar with Dry Hill. They have a beautiful modular layout, and the scenery, the track work, all of it is spectacular. We're working with them this year to showcase some of our models. So not only do you get to see our models in a booth, but you get to see them in their own happy environment actually doing what they're designed to do. So stop by our booth and then take a trip right across the aisle to Dry Hill. You're going to see these Bangor and Rustics, of course, running on the layout. And I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for these, the ICC cabooses. They're not in stock yet, but we're going to have these at the show. We're going to have them on display. They're going to be powered up so you can hear them, you can see the lights. And again, we're going to be working with our friends over at Dry Hill. They're going to have them operating on their layout all weekend long. Yep, these guys too. CA8s, they're going to be there. And, you know, Dry Hill, I always thought they were kind of more of an East Coast thing, but I'm thinking they're probably going to have one of these on their layout some point too. And, you know, I couldn't go in good faith to this part of the country and not bring a couple of Guilford units. It's kind of a neat little bit of poetry, if you will. This unit, of course, started its life as Illinois. Yeah. Well, it started its life right out in my backyard, basically, where I'm talking. Illinois Terminal is literally just about 2 or 3 miles from where I'm broadcasting tonight. Now, unfortunately, Illinois Terminal is no longer around. Part of the track work still survives under the Monticello Railway Museum. But like all good things, Illinois Terminal SD39 went on to live under the Norfolk and Western, which again is real close to my house. But flash forward, it becomes a part of Guilford. And guess what? This was right by my house as well when I'm living in New Hampshire. So I had to bring these, and we're going to be bringing a couple of these for guys to see at the show, and Dry Hill will have them in operation at the show as well. And then a lot of people have been asking, are you going to have anything new at the show? We're going to have a new announcement. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, we're going to have an announcement. Now, John's going to have some stuff there that he's going to want to show you guys. So you're going to want to gather around the booth. Now, if you don't know where our booth is, it is in the Mallory building. We're section 126. Basically, those main doors, walk into those main doors and we're off to the left. Look for the big blue Athearn signs. But 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, Eastern time, we're going to announce a brand new HO and N scale. Well, you'll have to see what it is. Now, we're going to try to broadcast that live as well. So for you guys that can't make it to the show, you can still see what we're going to be announcing. And then, of course, later on, it'll be added to our website. So a lot of exciting things going on at the Athearn booth. I hope to see you guys there. And hopefully we'll see some really great layouts and get to talk a little bit about trains. So with that, I've got time for a question or two, and then I'm going to let you guys go back to working on your layouts. No circus peanuts. I hate circus peanuts. I don't know why anybody would like those. Oh, Joel, you know what I'm going to say? Athearn product suggestions email. Because, as soon as the broadcast is over, I'm going to forget what you said. Just make it easy on everybody and just go over and use our product suggestion email. Keegan, Mr. AC 4400. Nothing yet. You're going to have to wait. Let's see. So I'm just going to cut to the chase and say, if you've got, I was watching another podcast today, and they were saying, we love watching the Athearn broadcast because most of the time in the comment section, it's just guys asking for stuff they want. So really, I'm not Santa Claus. I wish I was. I mean, I've got the weight for Santa Claus, but I'm not Santa Claus. So your best thing to do is to go over to our contact us page and find that Athearn product suggestion email and send it there, because quite frankly, I'll forget. Chris wants to know, will there be samples of any other models? And he lists a few. So yes, John is bringing some stuff. I'm bringing some stuff. We're going to bring some things. They're not going to be completed. These are going to be what they call test shots. This is what the product developers look at, critique, make sure that the measurements are right, all that kind of stuff. But the stuff that John's bringing is so cool that you're not going to want to miss it. So stop on by the booth and check these things out. John's already shared some of the things with me, and I'm just amazed at what we're doing right now for models. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit of everything. Even Janik is sending something for the show. So we're going to have a little bit of everything. And then, of course, the other thing for you guys that are shopping, I mean, that's one of the best things about a train show is the shopping. We're going to have stuff in the booth that's not only just stuff that's going to be available way down the road. We're going to have stuff that's available now. So you can go to our booth and look those models over. You can even go to the Dry Hill display and see what's running. And then go to one of the very many vendors that are there within those 4 buildings of model railroad goodness and pick up your own. We're also going to have some models on display that aren't here yet, but will be here shortly. You've only got about a month or so to wait for them. And then, of course, all those cool things that we're working on here at Athearn. Will it knock my socks off? Well, I don't know. We have to consider that at first you're wearing socks or not. I don't know. It depends on what you got. Our interests always vary. It's kind of funny when we come out with new announcements. I hear a lot of people say Athearn just does modern, even though we just released the GP7 or an ICC caboose. And then we hear guys say they don't do enough 6-axles, even though we've done an SD90 Mac and things of that nature. So it's kind of subjective. Personally, I think the stuff that we're going to be bringing is something that's going to catch somebody's eye. We're trying to bring stuff that is not only regional to the East Coast, but a little bit of everything. And as far as eras, we're trying to get all of those eras out there. So whether you like the older stuff or the brand new stuff, we're sure to have something at the booth that you'll enjoy. So Brian says, locomotive or rolling stock? At least give us that, Jim. I'll tell you what I'll do. It is HO and it is N scale and it is rolling stock. And it is something that I think is going to surprise a lot of you and something that a lot of you guys have secretly wanted, maybe not asked for. And with that being said, I'm probably giving away too much as it is. Rock Island GP18s, will they be delivered on time? So a couple of things I wanted to let you know. We've been having this question a lot in social media and a lot on Train Tuesdays. We did have some delays, mainly because of the chip shortage from last year. So check the Athearn website. Those ETAs, they will fluctuate because there's a lot going on in the world right now. Not only do we have that chip shortage, we still have some shipping delays. We try to keep that as current as possible, but that's your best resource is going to the Athearn website. We try to update that as soon as possible. So will there be a delay? Short answer to that is yes. There's probably going to be a short delay to those. Yeah, a lot of people can't wait till Saturday's announcement. Now, I forgot to say that Friday, the 27th, don't forget we have our new announcements for February. We're going to cover all the new stuff except for the stuff that we're going to talk about on Saturday. We're going to talk about all that new stuff for February. That Friday is always a great day because you still got that day to make the pre-orders for everything in January that you wanted. And you can also, you know, get two birds with one stone, if you will, and go ahead and pre-order February because your dealers already know about those items by then. So we're going to be doing that probably live from Springfield. I won't be in the Athearn studio for that one. And maybe, hopefully, I can coax John to come on board and help me. That'd be kind of cool. All right, I got time for one more comment, and then we will get you guys back to your podcasts and your layouts. February hint. I'm getting a lot of guys asking for a February hint. Man, I'm really bad at giving hints. Well, there's definitely something for you guys on the East Coast. In fact, if you're at the Springfield show, you'll probably be really happy. We are going to be unveiling some new tooling that's been done to a previously done model, and it's going to be in some East Coast roads. West Coast guys, we got you covered too. So what about the West, the Southwest? You're going to have to stay tuned, but I do know there's going to be some happy New Englanders and folks from the New York area. All right. Well, guys, I've taken too much of your time as it is. Don't forget, you've got until Friday the 27th to place your pre-orders for everything that we've talked about. Don't forget about those new Jeeps. They have, for the first time, they've got lighting features that we've not offered before. So you're going to want to get on board with that, especially you guys that have been CSX modelers that want the slug mothers. You're definitely going to want to run over and get those 40-2s for that. That being said, you've also got the 6400s and the 6000s, both in HO and N scale. These are going to be absolutely beautiful, so don't miss out on those. Go ahead and place your pre-orders before Friday. I will see you next time on the other side of the country. That is Friday at 3:30, and we'll be talking about the February new announcements. And then stay tuned for further updates about Amherst. If you're at the show, stop by and say hi to Mark, John, and myself. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, and thank you for your support. We really do appreciate it. Until next time, everybody, do some good modeling, and high greens, everyone.